Anyway, enough about me talking about advertising. I've actually set aside some part of the day to clean my garage out, but while I'm in here, I'm going to do some actual electrical content. I'm doing that because I've had this stuff out on the bench now for about 5 weeks, and my missus is wondering where all these cables have gone. I'm intrigued on that, but yeah, obviously this is an advertising safe space for the next 10 minutes, apart from if you need to clean something. Not really, but Audi window and glass cleaner is really, really good. It just cleans everything. I know that. I've just been cleaning things with it now. And it smells super fresh. Use my discount code. I can't say that word. Use my discount code, Blatant 4. This is basically USB cables.
How many USB does it have?
USB
USB.
USB
USB.
USB
USB.
USB
USB.
USB
USB.
USB
USB. USB. USB.
USB cables, but for electricians, because
just when you think that this channel couldn't get any more boring. Oh my God, what an absolute...
as an electrician, you don't need to know how it works. You need to know what date it's going down it. There are brilliant videos for that. If this is on YouTube, I've been doing a deep dive on this for reasons. But if this is on YouTube, I'll link in the doobly-doo down at the bottom. I'll actually link some good videos for you to learn about the protocols and the cables and all that kind of stuff involved. However, I appreciate that most electricians don't need all that shit. So I'm literally going to run down useful bits about USB for electricians, because this connection type is getting more popular and you're using it more and more and more. So I just thought I'd run down some of the stuff I've got here. This is meant to be a quick, easy, cheap YouTube video. But I don't think it's going to be. I think it's going to be about 8,000 hours long. So yeah, hold on to hats as we go into USB for electricians. You don't have to be an electrician either. If you just enjoy things like this, then if you're not an electrician, you enjoy it as well. But we don't like you. In the beginning, in a Maplin catalogue that I'll put in this video now if it's on YouTube. Why do I do this to myself? Now I've got to go all the way over here to my classic Maplin catalogues, which live on the shelf here, because I bought them to do videos around. I've got the 2007 one, that's weighing. I've got the 1998 Maplin catalogue. Then I've got to go all the way back over here and get it out and show you. So let me do that. So here's the 1998 Maplin catalogue. I would have been 16, 17. I keep this because it's fucking wild. I ought to do a video. I could, if I put a video on YouTube me just looking through it, it would be what I mean. It's got some wild shit in there. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't seem like 1998 was. I know it's 30 years ago. I suppose when this catalogue came out, fucking hell, from now, from 1998 to now is, what's that? 25, 26, 27 years. 27 years before that, almost 30 years before that would have been 1968. Jesus fucking Christ. Anyway, in here, you'll see that Universal Serial Bus, it came out in 1996, it's been described as new look. You could buy a cable for it for $6.99, which isn't bad. I mean, $6.99 was a fucking lot more money than then. And all they're really offering in here so far is the cables. That's all they've got. You can buy them. Type A and Type B, and that is it. But then I've got the 2007 one, where it's still pretty fucking wild, because even here now, we've only still moved on to USB 2. I mean, we're still using shit like that. Look at that. Oh my God, I'll do a video on these catalysts. But anyway, back to the show. USB was invented. The Universal Serial Bus, which comprised of a simply designed and classic connector. This one, the USB-A. Yeah? This is the USB-A, and inside it there are 4 pins, 2 power, 2 data. That would often go to, not that one, wait there. It would often go to this one, USB-B. Yeah, which was the host, which was the... This was always the computer end. This then went into the computer. And this end went into the Imperial, the printer, or whatever it was doing, yeah? Because what you got to remember is this is a communications protocol originally, not a charging protocol or a power protocol. Those were just sidelines. But originally, this was meant to go in your computer end, and whatever you speak to went at this end. And I don't know if it's a bidirectional bus. I think it was all one way. It sent all the information one way. Don't quote me on this USB shit, because it's not what I'm muddling into. What I'm saying is, this is the first type of USB lead. They had these two plugs, and that was it. That's USB, the 0.1s, the 1s and the 0.1s, yeah? Then there's like USB 2 and USB 3. Basically, just to cut a long story short, yeah? When they've got blue in, I think, the USB 2, the trick with this is in there's not just 4 connected, there's 8. Because as you can see on this end, look, there's a micro and a mini USB. There's 8 connectors, 4 in each one, right? If you want to get bogged down in the connector styles, remember, A is always backwards compatible. If you want to get bogged down in the connector styles, go and watch the videos that I'll link down at the bottom, or will be on this if they're in YouTube, yeah? The main problem I have as an electrician is, this has now become a way of communicating that it wasn't meant to be. It's not RJ45, it's not Ethernet, it's not RS232. It's quite finicky and doesn't like being fucked around, but it's become a go-to protocol standard. However, one thing it's absolutely being used for loads more is for these things, because USB-A, soon to be replaced by USB-C, is the de facto charging standard for things. There is no such thing as a USB charger, yeah? There are things that charge off USB, and this is a USB power supply. This is one by IKEA. I like this one. It's very, very good. Yeah, there's a big Clive video where he takes this apart and proves how excellently made it is. So I allow the use of these in my house. In there, you've got the USB-A plug, and I plug things in to charge it. That's an Amazon one. I class that as a good brand. I would allow that to be used in my house. That's an Apple one. They're a good brand. I'd allow that to be used in my house. This is some fucking cheap, shitey shit. Yeah, it's clear to me that whatever's taking up all the space in there and there is not as good as what's in there. That's a death trap. Don't use it. The first thing you've got to be aware of with USB is that there's plenty of death trap things kicking around. I'll tell you what, cracks one open now. I bet it's just got a couple of resistors in, which is not a power supply. Let's do that. If you want to see more of this thing kind of thing, go to the Big Clive channel. So I'm not going to copy him, but there's a terrible story of a girl, off it goes, that got electrocuted in the bath. A student that got electrocuted in the bath because she was using a shit charger with a long lead. And what obviously happened was, it's got more electronics than you think, actually. What would actually happen is she got a charger and it didn't have a safety isolate transformer in it. Maybe like that one's not. And it eventually put the voltage that was present on these pins down the USB pins. You can see there was no separation on the board. So if some moisture got on this, electricity could track from there to there. There is a little bit of separation. The boards we cut a bit, but that is not conformed to any standards. Look at the fucking state of it, yeah? So if you plug the cable in there, it's likely that you get more current out than you're meant to be getting. I bet you that's not a safety isolate transformer either. Anyway, basically this shit, I'll look at that more in another video, but not today. You want to be using good quality branded chargers. I include that point to prove that shitty USB stuff can kill you. But you shouldn't be able to, because it should be 5 volts and shouldn't be capable of delivering more than that. Anyhow, I have leads like this. So here I've got a USB-A extension lead, look. I've got loads of these in the office because I use them for camera stuff. But that's a USB extension lead, which is quite useful. And USB will extend quite a lot. That one's when I was working on generators. So I could plug this quite long lead into the generator control system. Use that long lead to get it out of the door, and I could sit on my laptop outside rather than sitting in a noisy generator room. So more and more and more, I'm sure you are experiencing, as I'm experiencing, that USB cables are coming more and more into electrical style and life, yeah? Also, then you have all stuff like this lot. Yep, all this absolute junk. Now, if you're like me, you've got a big bag full of testers, and not one single one of your testers is really capable of checking anything on these but the screens, because you can't get your probes in there, and you can't definitely get your probes in there on that USB micro. So really, you need something that's capable of checking them. So a while ago, I started to have this problem where even like something like around the house, like the phone's not charging or the kid's iPad's not charging, yeah? And it's starting to get my nerves. And I've created this tin. So in this tin, it's a new tin because I got it at Christmas. Before that, it was in this old Tony and Guy bag of my missus. I've got this little setup in here, which I'll take you through. This little setup in here is everything I need to deal with USBs as much as I want to, all contained within this tin, so I can take it out when I want to and deal with things that I deal with, because like you'll find cameras that have got these on, all sorts of shit, but I can't just go down there and go, I think the USB cable's broke, I'll just buy another one, because I haven't always got every single possibility of USB cabling, and there's no good way of testing it. So let me show you what I've got in here. First of all, I've got this one. This is the first one I bought. This is Billy Basics. This is the wrong way around. Don't use that, because it'll put everything in the wrong orientation. So I'll put that Apple one in, yeah. Plug this in, lock, and on there it's going to give me a simple voltage that's available, 5.16 volts, the current and the milliamps. So this display is using 0.73 milliamps to power itself. However, you'll see it's pass through. So I can then put something in here. So first of all, I know that this charge works because it's delivering 5.16 volts. And it's taking 0.0073 milliamps to control this, which is quite useful. So already I've got a load of shit. Then I can plug leads in here to check devices, which is useful. So for example, if I plug my phone, which I can't do, I would see it drawing current and know that my phone is working. So that is an extremely cheap, these are all on eBay and Amazon, by the way, really extremely cheap, useful bit of kit. Showing you the amps, the milliamps, something else there in the voltage. Great. Then I bought this. This is a load bank. Yeah, this will put load on USB. So if I put this into airlock, you'll see nothing's happening until I turn it on. And now it's drawing. I think it's meant to draw 1 amp. Oh no, it does 1 amp, 2 amps. So that's meant to be 1 amp. And that's meant to be 2 amps. So something's wrong. I'm not sure if this has fucking been knocked, something like that, but that's drawing 1 amp when it says 2. I didn't like this one, which is why I got rid of it, because it was a bit shit. And I replaced it with this fella, which is a much more capable load device. So you put it on lock, and you can turn the load and stuff like that. I'm not here to show these work. I'm here to show that they exist. See, I'm turning that up now, look, and the load's going up. And what I've basically done is I pushed that too far. I pushed that too far, and that's conked out. Because it's not capable of delivering that, because it's not very good. But there you go. That's a load bank for USB, and that's a cheap USB tester. So yeah, I had these. In the early days, I had these, and these were all I had. And they were infinitely useful, I tell you, for testing cables and stuff like that. But they weren't that great. These are loads better now, so don't be afraid to buy them. It's all right. However, there's this one that exists. This one's proper funky. It's got a computer in it, you know what I mean? There you go, 5.91 volts and no amps, because it's obviously not measuring itself, which is quite useful. Let's see if this is actually working, or see if it's the old one that shit. So if I put that in, that's a 1 amp. So that's pulling 0.939, so not bad for 1 amp on this simple resistor. Flick it up to 2 amp. It's broke it. Cut it off, look. It's not capable of delivering it properly. What's gone off here? I know what's going off. There's 1 amp, look. Flick it up to 2 amp. Gone. Why is that gone, you ask? It's because this charger is not capable of delivering 1 amp and it's cutting out. So I jump onto the IKEA one, which is capable of delivering 2 amps. Plug him in there, look. Put him on 1 amp. There you go. Almost 1 amp. Well, it's a bit lower than before. Flick it up to 2 amps. And it is capable of delivering it. Even though this resistance is a bit shit, so it's delivering 1.6 amps. So yeah, that was cutting out because it's designed to. So that's good. But I get all the details here, look. Temperature, milliamps, all the gubbins. It's got actual menus that aren't in Chinese if you flick for it, and you can scroll across and do stuff with it. It's a really good little tester. Like I said, I'm not here to show you how to use it. I'm just here to show you that it exists. Good news now is, if you don't put that in, that's got quite hot already. If you supply power and you plug a random cable in here, you can then plug that into your device and see if it's drawing any load. It'll also pass the data through, which is quite useful. So it's just a good way of checking cables. And at one point, that was all you had. But that is a very useful test to have. Also on this one, it supports, new video, this one supports the USB-A is the in. Then you've got USB-C. These buttons here for doing gobbledygook, going for the menus and stuff. USB-C, that's USB-C in and USB-C out. USB-A in, USB out. Micro USB, it doesn't do mini USB. But yeah, it's quite capable. You've got to sit there and play with it and work out how it all works. But it does everything you want to do. Same with this low bank one. You can set this between, I think it's 1 to 5 amps. It's also got USB-C, micro, USB-A. And you know what I mean? These things get me out of the shit when I need to measure some cables. They're pretty useful. However, oh, and I've also got these, look, which are dead handy. These do the power of USB, not the data. So it's just a male and a female with crocodile clips on the end. They're dead useful. I want to show you, mainly, for electricians, the one I got the other week, which is the most useful one I've ever had. So let me start the video and show you that. Everything else that's there, buy it if you need it. It's a bit more electronicsy, but this one is absolutely wizard. I think they use about a tenner. Just search USB tester. Right, there you go. That's what it looks like. So on this side, you've got, what's that? USB 3, Type 3, Type 2, Type 3, C, A, and A. Then you've got a battery. Then you've got classic B, that's the voltage in. USB-C. That one, which is USB 2.0, that's used on a lot of hard drives and stuff. And then you've got the micro, the USB-C, and the mini. And you've got all these LEDs here. Let me get a basic lead and show you what happens. So you're having a problem with this cable. Don't know if it's the cable or not. You get this. You know you're on USB 2. So you plug it into USB 2. You plug it into USB 2 on the other side. It'll go into these, look. And you'll see now, look, 4 lights are lighting up. You get in data pos, data neg, ground, and the V-bus. And I tell you now, there's 4 cables in that, and that is right. Again, there's a book that comes with it, so you can check it, but that is correct. Yeah, that's working. You do have to know a little bit, or reference the thing, but I'll tell you now, that's what I'm expecting from that lead. So that's fucking great. You can't test extensions with it. It doesn't support testing extensions. You have to use the extension. You have to test a working lead, then put the extension in line. That's one thing it can't do, but that's like the oddity. Get some odd cable like this, look. This is a USB-A to my Mini B. So this, now the trick with these is, these don't all support data. So plug it into USB 2. If you get it wrong, don't worry, it'll still work. Find the corresponding plug, which is this one here. See what shield's working, look, as I touch that. Plug it into its corresponding plug. There you go, that's the cable. It's got power in it and data in it. And it works. Quite useful. Now, I know what you're saying. I'm an iPhone user. Well, luckily for you, this device has on it, unusually, a lightning port. That one, there's a lightning port. So plug this into USB, plug it to lightning. It's that one. There you go. V-bus, ground, and the data. I don't know why. I think it uses these. It can be either LED on either side. It uses that for reasons, I think, to making it easy to work. I don't think it's got a micro. Oh, look, there's a little chart there that tells you what to do, look. There's hardly any microprocessor on it as well. It just literally works by flying voltage for it. So it uses 2 sets of LEDs to make it work. But how good's that? I'm sure many a person a dodgy lightning cable, you can obviously whittle that round to work out whether it's the lightning cable that's broken or your phone. What else have we got in here? This little oddity one, that's quite small. I'm actually looking for something specific here. That won't go round to the C. That's too short to use. You have to use an extension for that. That's a bad point. I'm looking for a specific cable I think I've got over here. I think this one might be broken. But basically it plugs everything into fucking everything. And there and so forth. So I'm sure I've got a broken one here. So plug this one in. This is a USB-C this time. So that goes in there, look. Wow, look at that now then. USB-C has double data lines. So it's got ground and V-bus 1, V-bus 2, and the power. So you get more data. So you'd have to look what it does. But basically, because it's a USB-C cable, it's faster. It has double the amount of data lines, which is why you're seeing a load more lights come up. So there's a little bit of an answer for you. So whereas USB-C has double data, I see this one. This is a cheap, nasty charger. I suspect this is the one I think it is anyway. Plug that in, look. That one. Look, that one's only doing ground and voltage bus. That means that this cable cannot be used for any kind of data transfer, which you might think is a bit shit, it's quite useful. For, say, you use public charge on your phone, if you public charge with a data cable, like a cable like this that only supports the voltage, that means that if someone who was here was trying to hack your phone, they wouldn't be able to do it because you can't hack people down the voltage bus. So that's quite useful. But if you try to use it for data transfer, you'd be like, this cable doesn't work, when it's actually working perfectly. And then I've got this classic. These are a pain in the arse to have. You never got one. USB 2 to the funny fucking USB 2 connector. Focus, you fuck. There you go, look. So it even does them. So now I'd go into the blue one. Up. And go into the funny shape connector one, which is over here. I'm going to run out of video. So plug that one in. This is USB 2, so I think it's got more pins. It's got double the amount of pins. Look, there you go. So you get double the amount of pins. That's double the buses in the USB 2 bodge format, which is this one. Like, they was just brought out to do some bodge. I mean, look at the state of that, yeah? So once they started making silly things like this, that's when they developed USB-C, which is absolutely a winner. I consider USB-C to be as robust as the USB-A. So USB-C is going places, so it definitely pays to, in your van, have something like this, and that's about it. That's like, oh, I think this one's a broken... This is a lightning cable. I think I've saved this one because it's fucked. Also, I robbed all these cables out of my kitchen, and my missus has been moaning at me for about 2 weeks, going, where's all the USB cables gone? And I've been going, I don't know, but secretly on here. Let's just try this one before we go anywhere. This is lightning. That's lightning. It works, but I think it's dodgy. But yeah, there you go. They're about a tenner. Absolute bargain. So they're all getting dumped back in the garage drawer. You know you are on YouTube if you made me buy that. And in my bag, I carry this one here, because a lot of external USB hard drives I use do it, this funky 2 point whatever it is. I carry a couple of extension cables. I always carry an extension cable and an A to B in this bag so I can find it easily. I also make sure I carry, this one's seen better days, but I always carry a micro and a mini and a charger, and then I keep my tin of bits in my test kit because I'll tell you why I got this tin of bits. So finally I can put all that back. The cables, my multiple cables, my A to B cable and extension leads, and my test kit can go back in my work bag. Then go back in the kitchen. And there is a few years ago, I think, put a camera up or put a lead in, and absolutely no way of testing this cable. And in the end, we had to like start plugging mobile phones into it to test it, which is great because you'll get the power. Yeah, it's great really, because I know what you're going to say, you can just plug a mobile phone to it, fantastic. But if you've got like a 10 metre USB-C cable going outside something, and it's all crusty and fucked, and you want to test it, you want to be fucking up your £10 USB cable test, don't you? Not fucking up your £1,000 phone. So yeah, it's becoming more and more prevalent you need to use USB cables, and they're the ones I've got. Like I say, not going to deep I use them, but what you definitely want to do if you get any of those things is just sit there for an hour, watch a few of the videos I'll put in the comments because they're better than the ones I could produce, and just get used to playing them because they are really, really powerful tools. Even if you have to sit there, even if you have it in your van and you don't know how it works, but you can just look on YouTube or Google when you need it, it's just not worth not paying. I think the two I say, that the new one, the lead tester, the load tester, and this one, the proper USB tester, I think you'd be in the hole for about 50 quid. Like, just get on it. It's not fucking worth it. Everything's fucking USB nowadays, and it'll cost you that in time to go and get a cable or come off a job. You won't look like a dick. Yeah, obviously, if you buy a USB test off Amazon, go the code Blatant4, tell them I sent you so I get my kickback. My bench is clear now. Could do something else on this. So yeah, I hope that's useful. It's not meant to be super in depth. It's just meant to be, it's there, it's available. Those things are there. They are well worth your time. Your money. You better spend your money on them than you are some, I don't know, fucking shitty dust sheets that are branded or some red tools that are for raping.